Mama's house, y'all. We are live in video. Well, not live, but we're on video and you get to see our faces. So be freaking nice. All right. All right. Anywho, welcome back, everybody. We are so excited here at Big Mama's house to introduce my bestie Paula.
Hi.
Paula,
Am I, fa-
everybody.
am I famous yet?
Soon. That's the goal.
Okay.
We Paula and I became besties. We met through my husband, Papa. Y'all know Papa. And Paula and Papa were actually they grew up together and were good friends, high school, early 20s, and all that good stuff. So, want to tell us a little bit about Miss Paula?
Yeah. So I met Papa in high school. We both played baseball. Both our fathers were involved. My father was actually president of the league, so that was a lot to live up to. Bill's father will help coach the team that he played on at the time that I met him. He had been done with little league, but uh, so we played baseball some in high school, and it was kind of became the joke that I was his personal catcher. We'd actually go after work and we'd go and play catch. His dad would help him with, pitching fundamentals, and I would be there to catch. And it was fun. We both dreamed that one day we would be play. Well, he was going to play for the Phillies, and I was going to be playing for the New York Yankees. And so far, I don't think either of us are. I don't think I have a 50-year-old comeback at this point in order to do that. But we'll see. I haven't totally closed the book on my MLB debut yet, but it's getting close.
I know
So
you've
yeah,
been working hard at it.
I am. Yeah, I think I have my like I said as a catcher. I think I still have my catcher's mitt in the basement somewhere. I'll have to,
We have a
I'll have
whole
to-
giant bag full of softball stuff from when the girls played and Bill coached or Papa
Oh,
coached. Y'all know his name, but we call him Papa.
I wasn't sure. I was going to. I didn't want to dox anybody or anything like that. So, but
So, one of the reasons that we are gonna have more sessions with Miss Paula here is because our country has lost its ever loving mind. Okay, especially when it comes to people who are different, people who have different sexual orientations, and especially for some confuzzling reason, trans folk. Okay, and I don't know why people think that they're out to molest your children, steal your husbands or wives, or ruin the American family, but that is so far from the truth. In fact, I don't know any trans person who doesn't want a family of their own, you know? Um, and I don't know if any of you could tell because my beautiful friend here is such a lovely lady, but Miss Paula is a trans woman. And all this stuff lately has us both very, very concerned, not just about her rights, but about her safety and the safety of everyone in the LGBTQIA plus community. Um, and so we're kind of here to discuss a little bit about that today. We're going to be discussing lots of things over the course of this season, not just about trans stuff. So y'all can just calm down, okay? This is an informational thing. This is educational. Um, Especially considering what happened this week. Um, it was a terrible, awful tragedy for every single person involved. And but it has really kicked up the hate for our trans friends and adding more to the misconceptions and misinformation about who these people are. And I know that is something that you really wanted to make clear.
yeah. So I mean, hasn't really. I haven't seen any personally. A lot more hate. I feel like I pass just well enough that most people around here will give me the benefit of the doubt. So they're not quite sure that, well, that chick's awfully tall. And I don't, but, if you're going to accuse somebody, usually you better be pretty darn sure you're going to look like an ass. So I think that aspect tends to, uh, you know, protect me to a certain extent. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't live in an echo chamber. I see what's being said on Fox News, and particularly my kid grew up in a very conservative family, so um, you know, I I know my parents are seeing it. I know a lot of people in this area are seeing it. I live in Pennsylvania. I live in a very rural area here in Pennsylvania, so we have probably almost as many Trump signs per household as we do people. So yeah, it's certainly concerning. As far as what I would say about it, there's been about 4,400 shootings, mass shootings in the last 10 years, and four of them, I think, we'll count this one, even though it's still a little unclear whether they detransitioned or not. But, for the benefit of the doubt, we'll say four of them have been trans. And if we look at the population, we make up about 1% of the population total. That counts a lot of non-binary people and whatnot, but we'll keep it around 1%. So that means we would expect trans people to be performing 1% of all the mass shootings.
Right.
What we see is trans people actually only uh, committed about half of 1%. So that means that we're actually 10 times less likely to commit a mass shooting than the general population. So,
Look,
um,
say somebody's been living under a rock and does not know what we're talking about. This past Wednesday, August 27th, 2025, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, two children, an 8-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, and 18 other people were injured, including 14 other children. And then the perpetrator killed herself. And the four adults that were injured were people in their 80s that were just there at the church, also attending the church service praying. And then Robin Westman, a 23-year-old, fired through the windows of a church in a Catholic school. And Robin was a supposed to be a trans woman. Where I don't believe there's any surgery involved. I know that she changed her name as a minor. Her mother signed for it, allowed her to change her name because the reason stated was because she was female and wanted to change her name. Um, and like you said, I don't think that this is an issue of a trans person who killed people. This is a mentally unstable human who did this and did the same thing that 284 other mentally unstable humans did this year alone, killing over 1,900 people and injuring almost 10,000 others just this year. And according to our government, 94.6% of mass shootings were committed by solo men. 94.6%. Add another half percent of that to for trans people, and you're looking at about 95.1%. And the rest are women. Okay. Um, but I just love how men, especially white men, are the first ones to jump on the bandwagon of, oh, trans and gay and our families and church and Jesus and, you know, um, but they're the ones who are always doing the perpetrating of the shootings, killing their wives, killing their girlfriends, abusing their children. They are the number one perpetrators of all violence in America. Now, do with that information what you will. But I don't understand why no one understands that correlation, you know? But they want to pick out the minority, the and focus on those crimes.
well, it's a blame game. The trans community in general has very little political power. The Democrats have pretty much started the whole process of kind of just throwing us away. Like, we're going to sacrifice them for in order to kind of achieve what they call a centrist position. Um, and so
There's nothing centrist about human rights
yeah,
or leftist or rightist. It should just be a common sense. Everybody believes in it, right?
You would think, but I mean, honestly, that's always been kind of the progressive perspective is that, when we do better, everybody does better. It's, you know, but yeah, I guess what it's easier to blame to say that the reason why your life sucks is because of somebody else, and that's we just won the bad lottery, I guess. So, um,
Well, I think it's sad, really, that people can't look at it as these people are ill and be like, now, how do we prevent it in the future? Mental health awareness, mental health assistance. You know what I mean? If these signs were there and there was a notebook and there were videos or whatever, it seems to me that there needs to be safeguards in place. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me they don't have algorithms in the government looking for people with certain keywords. You know what I mean? Why can't they do the same thing for people exhibiting mental health issues like that? Because
it,
isn't that what we gave up our privacy for? So that they could find terrorists before they strike?
well, just another thought too. I wrote a statistic that said of all the gun violence that's occurred in the United States, 100% have been committed by people with guns. Um, Maybe
And I'm
something
not
we
gonna
want to look
lie,
into.
all this nonsense going on with taking away wanting to take away trans rights, gay rights, women's rights, deporting everyone else, you know, I don't understand why we're not fighting back. Where is the outrage? Like, I'm a middle-aged white woman, okay? I have probably been the least, you know, I'm losing the words, like, held back and put down and kept underfoot than any other female
Re- re-
population, okay?
Repressed.
Repressed, thank you.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean that I haven't been sexually assaulted, sexually harassed, been a victim of misogyny, and by my own family is the number one culprit, to be perfectly honest. Um, all that, but I'm outraged on behalf of you, my friend, my gay friends, my other female friends out there that I know are scared of losing their rights because they're gay, because they're of childbearing age, because, you know, all these things. And I'm outraged. I bought a gun. I've been anti gun my entire life. I bought a gun to protect my family, to protect my kids, protect myself, you know, because I'm afraid.
Hmm.
Gun sales are going up and it's only going to increase the problem. But I keep mine locked up. And the only reason I would use it if someone broke into my home or was trying to assault me out. You know what I mean? I'm not
Hmm.
those crazy people that, feels like a gun solves everything. You have a disagreement and you pull out your gun. That's what's wrong with people. They don't have any common sense or boundaries or self-control. I don't know what maybe it's everybody's nuts. I don't know.
Yeah, I think everybody has somebody they know that you're like that person shouldn't have a gun. I think there's always somebody who's like, if you don't, that's
Family
probably
members.
you're probably that person. Um, but yeah, so as far as when you're talking about gun control, that's kind of what where I kind of see this is like, well, who are the people you don't want to have guns? It's like, is there? I honestly feel like if we need to start treating gun rights as gun privileges. Um,
Pat.
Obviously, that's going to be almost impossible in this political climate in order to ever modify the Second Amendment in any meaningful way. But we do, I think at some point we do need to take a step back and say, okay, well, this amendment is completely antiquated with what it was originally meant to do. The idea of the Second Amendment was that if that people would be able to bear arms to repress a what is essentially tyrannical government. Unfortunately, the reality is if they send SEAL Team 6 after your ass, or I don't care how. much of a badass you think you are, you're pretty much toast. There's just
Well, the point was
just
back then they didn't have an army. They didn't have a navy. They didn't have the Marines. They didn't have the Air Force.
yeah.
The citizens were the militia, and that was the whole point. You need to be able to bear arms so that you can have your own militia in case,
Mhm.
you know, again, against your own government in case of invasion or whatever. That's what it was for. It's not just so that, oh, everyone can have a gun because blah, blah, blah. It was so that they could protect themselves because there was no army or whatever to protect them. And
But I mean, ultimately, I would say we need to start thinking about a licensing um, strategy. You need to, if you're going to drive a car, you need to show that you're able to operate a car in a safe, responsible manner. Why in the world we don't expect that same, uh, you know, level of competency when it comes to owning a firearm is baffling to me. Why not have some kind of gun course that we all have to go to in order to be able to own a firearm? You need to show that you can point to your shoot bang down range and hit the broadside of a barn. You need to be able to show that you can clean it, be able to show that you're able to store it safely. Probably a written
just
test on gun safety, that kind of thing.
I
Why
bought a
don't we?
gun and I had no clue what I was doing. I just went to our local gun
Sure.
store. It's like a sporting goods store or whatever. And uh went in and I filled out the paperwork to get the background check, picked out the gun I wanted, paid for it,
Hmm.
and they waited for it to come back to go pick up my gun. And they just handed it like, here's your gun.
Yeah,
Shooting.
it's nothing to it.
You shooting. I had to read the book to figure out how to take it apart, how to clean it, how to load it. I had no clue. None. But I try to be a responsible owner of whatever I own, whether it be a car, a gun, a lawnmower. I read the book. I try to understand, what to do, what not to do, how to take care of things to make them last. And not many people do that.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
had the benefit. I was in the Marines for 4 years, so obviously I learned how to qualify with a rifle. And you
thank you
know,
for your service.
I, I think this country has a very unhealthy sense of patriotism. Uh, uh, that's my hot take for this video here. But
Oh, I
it's
agree with
I
you.
yeah, believe it or not, people when we it's certainly an honorable thing to do. But we get paid to do it. That's uh, that and I do feel like one of the reasons I did it was because of the VA benefits I was going to have getting out with help me with college, my first degree, help me buy a house with VA home loans. I mean, these things. I'm not saying these things aren't earned. They're that we absolutely should have them because, like I said, this is the kind of things that get people to enlist. I mean, I do believe that we should have a strong military, uh, but at the same time, just it's insane how over the top some people are when it comes to just military patriotism, I guess we'll call it. It's baffling. It's unhealthy in my
I've been sharing a lot of videos from our veterans who have very strong opinions about our government right now, our president, and who are
opinion.
very, very angry because there are rumors right now that the next thing that they're going after is they're going to be putting ice on to some Marine bases, several actually. And their thinking is, guess what? There are a lot of undocumented people on military bases, spouses,
Mhm.
people that work there who are civilians. You know, I'm
Oh,
just,
yeah,
and if you
Marines in
Marine,
particular love being undocumented immigrants. I could tell you that from experience. Oh my god, it was almost a joke in our unit. Every time somebody got married, there was always
now,
documented in.
as a Marine, what would
Uh-huh.
the a unit do if someone came in and tried to basically kidnap one of your fellow soldiers' family? What would the unit do?
Oh, I'm sure I'm certain that wouldn't go over. I mean, so I wasn't like the dorkiest profession in the military, but even still, yeah, that probably wouldn't have gone over very well. I mean, we're talking 1996 to 2000 when I was active duty. So it's been a hot minute. So the kind of things we're even talking about now weren't even a glimmer in anybody's eye back then. So it's kind of even
True.
hard to even put that in that kind of context. Because I mean, at the time, this was the uh, uh,
Don't ask, don't tell.
yeah, don't ask. Yeah, thank you. Don't ask, don't tell era. So and I was completely in denial when I went in. I mean, part of the reason why I went in is because I was still trying to prove my manliness to myself. So we see how that turned out in the end. But
Beautifully.
uh, absolutely, as it should have. That's how it went. But at the time, yeah, and honestly, that's actually why another funny statistic is that trans women are twice as likely to be military veterans compared to the general population, because we all kind of have that same need, particularly when we're like in heavy denial, that trying to prove our manliness to ourselves, and so that drives a lot of us into the military in order to try to do that. So and obviously that's a whole other subject as far as trans people in the military. That's still pretty raw and pretty awful.
Yes.
Not only did they force people out, but now they're stealing people's retirements. They're saying that the people that were forced to, you know, to retire are getting no retirement, or they're getting minimal retirement benefits in order to just get them out. Losing VA rights, and it's pretty awful what happened to a lot of these people.
And again, where's the outrage from the rest of our veterans? They
Oh
serve,
yeah.
and we're still serving some of them. And why don't they matter too? They served right alongside you. It's like, I don't
I don't know if there's any other trans people that I was in with, but I know there's like 3 people that were ended up being gay that were in my unit. So I still talk to on Facebook and social media and whatnot. So kind of funny just how many of us were in the queer community, and we're completely in
and
denial about it.
that's what kills me is that a lot of people, they're like, especially the older guys, the Vietnam vets, Korean War, that kind of thing. They're like, we didn't have no gays in our military.
Yeah, you did.
That's all I'm gonna say as I slowly back away.
That was that was pretty scary.
Just saying, like, use your brains, y'all. Just like they're like, oh, trannies have never existed before this generation. I mean,
Well, we were all in
Google it.
cryostasis with the Illuminati,
Like,
and they
Google
just
it.
uh,
Please Google it. Google it. That
mhm.
because it's so not true. It kills me. It kills me the people who choose to be willfully ignorant and think that, oh, it's just this generation is ruining the country. Really? Okay.
It's the only way we can get our membership cards to the deep state from the Illuminati is by ruining the country. So, well,
Well, I have a bad feeling that there is going to be some even worse stuff coming because let's just say this is my theory. Okay, this is based on what's been happening. Trump's going to die. Vance is going to become president, and him and all of his Christian nationalists are going to raise up and try to turn this joint into Gilead. And everybody can laugh at that and be like, "Ooh, there's conspiracy theories." No, it is what they're trying to do. They're trying to take away women's right to vote because God says so. They're trying to make it so that women can't choose their own body reproductive system because God says so. They think that there should be a right to beat your wife and children and cheat on them, and but they need to put out and do whatever you want anytime you say it because God says so. I'm telling you, they have been planning this for a very long time. And if you also Google Christian nationalists and the history of it, Google it. Please, y'all. Do your own research. Don't Take my word for it. Don't call me crazy before you Google. That's all I'm saying. Is there anything else that you want people to know before we wrap up this episode?
Oh, I think I'm good. I'm hopefully be invited back, and we can certainly, anybody wants to know anything about me is more you're more than welcome to ask, and we could talk about it next time.
Yes, leave us comments. Please like us or subscribe or whatever it is that on this particular platform that, makes you like us.
Hmm. Make us famous. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, but be nice, y'all. Come on. We're just people. We're nobodies. Be nice. Okay? Um, Now, as always, before we go, um, if you or someone else you know is experiencing depression or suicidal thoughts, please contact. You can call 988 from your cell phone or text pound 988 to text someone, or go to 988lifeline.org to chat with someone and get information there. Also, since we're on the subject of crazy people, sorry y'all. If you suspect someone of being dangerous, call 911 immediately, or you can call 1-800 call FBI or go to tips.fbi.gov. Because if you think someone is planning bad things or isn't well, please do one of those two things. Reach out. Get If you think someone's hurting themselves or is going to hurt themselves, you can call 911 and request a wellness check. Um, Keep an eye on your friends. Check in with them. Ask them how they're doing. Um, that's what friends are for, right, Paula?
That's right. And no profiling.
You heard it here first, y'all. Okay. Until next time, y'all. Bye.